Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you some more of testimonies where God has done something for me, or but anyway, so a recent one probably happened about, 3 years ago. I was driving to work, and it was raining and it was dark, and I was still working where I'm at now, and so it was about 6 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, I was driving to work, and it was raining, and we live here in Tennessee, so we have kind of, the roads are like switchbacks, and I'm driving, as you can see. Always talking to you guys when I'm driving. It's like the best time to share stuff. But anyway, and it's raining now. But anyway, I had a Dodge Durango, and we probably hadn't had it very long, but I was really pleased with it. But I'm not used to driving something like that. It was like I was driving, let's see, before that I had a minivan, and I think I had a Santa Fe. I have a Santa Fe now. So I was just used to driving cars like that. Well, we had went out and decided we were going to get a Durango, and I was driving it to work, and I hydroplaned, and I crashed. And the thing about the roads here in Tennessee, or at least I live in East Tennessee, and I live out in the boonies, out in the hollers, they say around here. I'm not from around here. And the roads to get out of the hollers and onto the main roads, it starts out as a one-lane dirt road that the bus won't even go down, the school bus won't even go down. And then it goes to a bigger paved road where there's still not a dotted line, but 2 cars can fit down it, and if someone slows down, there's still no shoulders. And then as you're going out, you finally hit a 2-lane road with 1 yellow line, and 2 cars can safely go by each other without having to stop. And all the while you're going up and up hills, and then you go down hills, and you're kind of snaking around, going over, little creeks and stuff. And then once you get to the 2-lane road, that's pretty much what you're on until you get out of the holler and onto the main road. And the main road is what brings me to the closest city where my job's at. Well, it's kind of out in the outskirts, but anyway. So, as you're going to get to the main road, it snakes, and there's a lot of there's 2 or 3 blind corners, and then there's drop-offs. They don't have really any guardrails on this road. Yeah, so I get to this one blind corner, and I hydroplane, and well, I could have gone straight and went down the embankment, but I didn't. But the way I hydroplaned, and I don't know if anybody's ever owned a Dodge Durango, but I guess they are taller than they are wide or something. They say they tip over easily. Well, that's what happened. I ended up on my side, and I'm skidding down this little tiny road, no guardrails, but I'm still on the road, and the nose of the car somewhere hits the passenger side inner embankment. I don't even know what you would call that, but I hit that, and I'm not entirely sure how, but I flipped back onto the tires, because when I went on my side, I was on my side, driver's side. And so by hitting that embankment, it bounced me back, it swung my hind end around, and somewhere along the line, I am back on 4 wheels, and just stopped. And not entirely sure, the whole time, I'm frozen in my seat, I was buckled up, like white knuckling the steering wheel, and my foot was still on the brake, because, you know, I think that's part of the reason why I hydroplaned too high. And so I sit there in shock for a few minutes. The car, or the Durango, is still running, didn't even stall or nothing. And so I look down, and I put it in park, and then I put it back in drive, because I think to myself, I don't want to stay at this blind corner, because someone is going to come around not knowing that this just happened, and they're going to hit me, and it's just going to be, you know, bad, because I'm right in commute time. I mean, a lot of people go on this road to get on the main road, so it was going to be bad if I stayed there. So I did. I put it in drive, and it moved like nothing was wrong. And so probably about 100 feet from where I had crashed, it snakes back around. You can see it pretty clearly, and there is a nice elderly couple who has a really large driveway, wide. It actually created like a shoulder. This road didn't have one, so it created a shoulder. So I went there, and I parked there to get off from the road, and I was still pretty shaken up, but then I went and knocked on their door, and it was still dark, mind you, and they were really nice people, and, you know, they let me stay on their porch. I was able to call, and I mean, took pictures and everything you need to do. I didn't call police, but I didn't hit anybody. I didn't figure I needed to call police for that. I don't know. But, so anyway, nothing happened. I didn't get hurt, just scared the crap out of me. And now, like, I have a little bit of trauma as to where I don't like driving in the rain. Like right now, I'm driving in the rain. I think I've already said that. And any time I feel the wheels slip a little bit, I grip the wheel again, thinking it's going to happen again. But other than that, nothing bad happened. The car still drove fine. It was mainly cosmetic damage to the Durango. I couldn't open the door, and all the mirrors and stuff was, you know, off on that side. And I think the tire rims were scratched, but it not enough to where it would not hold air. I mean, so I could have kept driving it. I just had to get in through the passenger side, but I had insurance, so I was fully covered, because like I said, I hadn't had it very long. And I ended up cashing in and getting, and I can't even remember what we got after that. people about that, it didn't seem like a big deal to me. But when I told them the story, they were like, bro, you almost died. And I was like, no. And they're like, yeah, you could have died. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. I mean, I don't know. But I really do think, though, that I don't think it should have went back onto its wheels the way it did. And I truly think that was a time when the Lord had kind of intervened and had his angels save me, protect me. I mean, I could have went over the embankment. I mean, they are sheer drop-offs. On if anybody has ever been on these back roads in Tennessee, in the mountains, anywhere in the Appalachian Mountains, I don't think it's not just like this in Tennessee. I'm originally from Vermont, so, and it was like that up there. I mean, the way the back roads and out. So they didn't have. So I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse than what it was. And I truly believe this is a time when the Lord saved me. So that's one example. I mean, I'm 38. I'm sure there's a whole lot of more times that God has stepped in for me. But we share our testimonies. Our testimonies is what we have to try to get people to know that God is real. Evidence. And I know that God saved me. That was recent. And then other times, and it could be, and this is a financial example. The financial example I got is there have been random times, like when I lived in Texas, and actually this happened last week. When I have gotten checks in the mail, and for times that we really needed it, or something was going to happen, and money was there. And the checks, they said, and they were legitimate, they were checks from bills that we had paid, and supposedly we overpaid them. Like one of them was credit for our power from an electric company. I have never heard of them giving you a check. Usually you're going to be buying or paying for electricity the next month, so most of the time they kind of just credit you and hold it over for the next month, but we got a check. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. And then the other day, we had, last year, we paid off the Santa Fe, the one I'm driving now. And last week, we got basically a check in the mail. They put it on a card now, a gift card or whatever, for $250 because we overpaid on the Santa Fe. Let me tell you, who does that? How do you overpay when you pay off a car? You know what I'm saying? So it could be coincidental, but I don't think so. I think this is one of those financial examples that God has blessed us with money randomly. And this is one of those things, it has to do with tithe, I believe. They say, a lot of people have problems with tithes in churches because they think, church just wants your money, da-da-da. I mean, some churches might be like that. Some preachers are like that. The ones ministries that they're kind of working out there on their own, they'll be doing a bit and going on, preaching their little hearts out, and then they have to throw in the little, if you want to donate to me, da-da-da, here's where you... And meanwhile, they've got like a cross hanging on their neck, blinged up with about the size of a grapefruit, hanging on their neck. But it's not always the case. In any way, whether you believe it or not, I personally believe God has required us or wants us to be a joyful, willful giver, and I willfully give my 10% every week, which is about $50 roughly. And that's not a common thing that people give every week when they go to church. It's usually a 20 or it's whatever. But I give my 10% every week or every time I go to church. But anyway, and I've done it with mine. Now my husband, he's one of them ones who really bugs him when churches ask about money or when they do sermons about tithes, and it really bugs him. It is what it is. So I don't tithe his income. I only tithe my own. And I've done it for 20 years now that I've been doing this. And so a lot of people don't think their money does anything when they go to church, but I promise you it does. I mean, $250 just out of nowhere. Who does that? Oh, you overpaid on your car. Really? I don't know. I just don't. It's too much of a coincidence to me. Maybe it was possible. I don't know. But it's happened to me too many times over the 15 years. Multiple times. For it to be a coincidence. So that's just my opinion. That's just how I, feel like God works personally with me. So that's a financial example of how another thing, is churches can help you when you need help. Recently, our driveway has gotten really, really bad, and so we've lived here for 5 years, and now it's like tearing up this car. The Santa Fe is very angry at me. It's making all kinds of noises now, because basically our driveway is like a farm road, so it is washed out bad. And thankfully, being a Santa Fe, it sits up a little bit higher. It's front wheel drive, so I have been able to get up and down it, but having to straddle the washouts and stuff, and it's just, this Santa Fe is very mad at me. So finally this year, I told him, I said, we need to get this driveway fixed. I know we don't have the money. I'm going to go to the church. And so I did. I went to my church and approached some people, and they went to the board and all that, and I got approved, not for a whole lot, but for a couple loads of gravel. And they were even going to pay for labor and all that, and we told them, no, we have a tractor, we'll do the labor ourselves, we just needed help getting the material. And so they did, and they delivered it. I think it was last Friday or the Friday before, can't remember exactly. And my husband used it, and we still need another load, but he at least filled in the washouts so that this whole car ain't shaking like an earthquake. I mean, you had to be seat buckled in to stay in the seat as you're bumping down, going up. And you were hanging on. You didn't dare try to drink anything when you go down my driveway. It'd be all over you. But now it is very nice. I mean, it's not even finished, but it is so nice. It climbs up nice and smooth in that one spot and everything. Now, we had offered to barter with our church because that's just how my husband and I are. We don't like to panhandle or beg or be one of them people. If we're able to give back or barter or do something so that we could help, the church could help somebody else. So we have 54 acres, and there's a lot of trees, so we have firewood. And so we offered to exchange the firewood for this money. And a lot of people in this area use firewood to heat their homes. So by exchanging the firewood for the money that they gave us to get gravel, now the church has firewood to give to anyone who needs to heat their home. And of course they would get it for free from the church. And in a roundabout way, we've helped keep somebody warm for a little bit. I mean, right now we're actually coming out of the season, but when people do need the firewood, they'll have it. So, sometimes it's difficult, especially our particular church has a lot of elderly in it. So, but that's just how we are. I mean, I've heard that our church has bought this another lady who was really struggling, living in a really bad situation, and they were able to purchase her a little tiny home, and for free. Didn't cost her nothing. It still needed a little work. Like, I think it still needed insulation and stuff. I mean, it was a typical kit of those little tiny homes, Leland sheds or whatever you want to call them, because she was just a lady by herself. She didn't need a lot of room. And so, I mean, that's just a testimony for how I feel you should be a part of some kind of church. You are more likely to get help from your church if you are a regular than if something hit, some tragedy or something happens to you and you need something right now, and you're not part of a church. It'd be a little bit less difficult to get a church to help you, because they don't know you, and they don't know if you're just I mean, I guess that shouldn't matter. If someone needs it, they need it, in my opinion, but it just seems that way, that they're more likely to give you what you need if you're a part of their church than if you're a stranger coming in. So these are just a few of my testimonies that God has worked and done things in my life. And I have, hopefully I'll remember more, and then I'll have another video post on here later on more testimonies. I'm sure I got a bunch of them to share. I just got to remember them all, especially in 38 years that God has done amazing things for me. So I hope this video blessed you in some way to know the power of God, and my testimony is evidence to encourage you to get to know and start a relationship with Jesus if you haven't already, or if it affirmed your faith to say, yeah, see, my God is an awesome God. So have a blessed day.